On a gentle early morning, before the world below truly stirred, and while the sky wore only a thin coat of pale blue, Little Cloud awoke. It was a tiny thing, new and shimmering, spun from the freshest drops of dew gathered in the hush of night. Little Cloud nestled for a moment longer in the soft arms of its mother cloud nest, a place woven by kindness and the ceaseless lullaby of wind. Around it, the whole nest shimmered softly, full with other young clouds, each dreaming, each waiting. But today, something would be different. Little Cloud stretched for the first time since forming, quivering as a fine silver mist shook from its delicate edges. All around, the sky was a peaceful canvas, touched only by the earliest hint of sun, promising warmth and adventure. Little Cloud peered beyond the mother cloud nest, watching the big brother and big sister clouds gliding far out in the open air. They laughed and danced high above, trailing shadows in sunlight, confident and sure. By contrast, Little Cloud felt very small and safe, cradled in the nest's embrace. But deep within, in that secret place where curiosity grows, Little Cloud felt a tingle, a gentle urging as soft as the whispers of the wind. In the quiet between heartbeats, Little Cloud heard the sky beckoning. It's a wide world out there, full of wonders and dreams. Why not look and see? Summoning courage, Little Cloud nestled a little closer to Mother Cloud and asked, "Mom, what's down there, beyond the edge of the nest?" Mother Cloud smiled, her voice gentle and full of warmth. "Down below there's land and rivers, trees and homes, so many things to see. But take your time, dear one. Don't rush, and always heed the wind, for it can be playful or wild." Comforted but eager, Little Cloud nodded. With a breath, it gathered its gentle fluff and, slow and careful, drifted from the cloud nest, its first journey alone. The vast sky before it was both thrilling and intimidating. Each movement felt like a leap into the unknown. But above all, Little Cloud felt alive. With every minute that passed, the world below became clearer. Forests stretched out like blankets of green, thick and alive, their leaves flickering in the dawn's gentle light. Small houses, tiny as pebbles from this height, dotted the ground. A silver river wound through it all, sparkling and lit like polished ribbon in the morning glow. Every color and shape seemed new, the sort of beauty saved just for those seeing it for the very first time. Little Cloud watched it all, heart pounding with nervous excitement, touched now and again by the gentle warmth of fledgling sunbeams. Each ray that touched Little Cloud seemed to whisper encouragement, making her edges gleam in pearl-like iridescence. Then, quite suddenly, a fresh breeze whirled around, gentle but lively. It nudged Little Cloud softly, coaxing her along. "Hello, new cloud," came a cheerful voice, mischievous and light. It was gentle wind, playful and kind, wrapping around Little Cloud like an invisible scarf. "Is this your first time out alone up here?" asked gentle wind with a smile in its voice. It twirled, showing off a bit, looping across the open space. "Would you like me to show you the way?" Little Cloud hesitated at first, feeling very small and very new, but the kindness of gentle wind made fear seem a little less heavy. "I've never flown this far before," admitted Little Cloud, voice soft but hopeful. "Then let's make it an adventure," gentle wind offered, gently guiding Little Cloud forward. Together they wandered farther from the nest. Gentle wind pointed out every marvel. A red kite bold as a tongue of fire, spinning high on a string. A child running, laughter rising up, hands stretched for dreams. Little bridges over ditches, tiny but important, appeared below like hidden threads of a vast tapestry. Little Cloud's perspective opened wide. It saw joy and life at every turn. With each new discovery, Little Cloud felt lighter, bolder. The wind's laughter was contagious. Soon she was sailing just a little faster, no longer so fearful. The world was open now, full of friendly faces and small adventures. Gleaming ponds, flocks of birds arrowing across the dawn, sunlight caught on windows far below, making everything shine. The passage of time felt different up high. The day slipped by, the sun arcing from gentle gold to strong, bright white, then softening as dusk gathered gently. When long shadows started stretching over the green below and the world blushed pink and amber, Little Cloud remembered Mother Cloud's advice. Turning back, she drifted slowly to the nest, feeling the evening air wrapping about her like a gentle blanket. This time, her return was different. Little Cloud was not the uncertain, frightened bit of vapor she'd been that morning. In her heart were the treasures of the day, the feeling of wind, the colors of forests, the spark of sunlight, the memory of laughter and first flights. She carried them all like tiny crystals, sparkling inside her misty form. As night came, Little Cloud curled up close to Mother Cloud, softer and more peaceful than ever. She smiled, content and quietly proud. The sky didn't seem so big or so frightening anymore. The world was full of more wonders than she had feared, and much more kindness than she had known. The open sky was home, and courage meant more than just leaving the nest. It meant returning too, with stories and delight. Tomorrow Little Cloud knew the sun would rise again, and more adventures would wait. The world, so vast and so dazzling, was hers to explore, if only she followed her heart and trusted the gentle hand of the wind. And so, as the stars blinked awake, and the mother cloud nest drifted peacefully, Little Cloud dreamed of what would come next. Each tomorrow a gift, waiting just beyond the horizon. The new dawn was gentle and full of promise, brushing the edges of the sky with whispers of gold and pink. Little Cloud woke among her fellow clouds, feeling the dew shimmer across her delicate form. She was a little earlier than most, so the world below was still quiet and wrapped in shadow. Yet in her heart, a flutter of anticipation stirred, an eagerness for what this second adventure in the sky might bring. With a soft whoosh, Little Cloud slipped out from her cozy nest. Each wisp and swirl felt new, filled with curiosity and the excitement of discovery. Below her, the hills rolled in smooth, verdant waves, green so deep they looked almost edible, like layers of matcha cake. The earth was slowly lighting up as the sun stretched its arms, awakening the forests and lakes Little Cloud had yet to explore. As she daydreamed, a sudden movement caught her attention. A cool breeze spiraled nearby, looping in wide, graceful arcs. The breeze shimmered with invisible energy, wrapping Little Cloud in gentle encouragement and subtle joy. "Hello again, Little Cloud," came a familiar, fluting voice, soft as a melody played on a wind chime. Little Cloud's spirits rose. "Oh, is it yesterday's wind?" she chirped, feeling delight at the return of her new companion. The gentle wind danced in place, a spark of laughter swirling through the sky. "That's me. Do you want to go a little further today?" "How far?" Little Cloud wondered, her form bouncing with anticipation. "Far," the wind replied, voice full of warm secrets, "to where the sunset pours down the sky like an orange waterfall, and white cranes fly through a sea of clouds." "Is the world that big?" Little Cloud pondered, growing rounder with awe. "Bigger than you can imagine," answered Wind with a twist and a spin, "and every time we fly it feels even bigger." So the journey began. Side by side, Little Cloud and the gentle wind set off beyond familiar skies, curiosity outweighing uncertainty. Each gust pushed Little Cloud forward, lifting her higher and further, introducing her to places she'd only heard about in the daytime murmurs of cloud elders. They soared over the whispering forest, a vast expanse of ancient trees. Their trunks were thick with age, and their crowns knitted together like friendly heads sharing secrets. As the canopy rustled, the wind explained, "Every leaf keeps a memory from those who passed beneath. Listen close, and you can almost hear stories drifting from leaf to leaf." Next, they drifted over the blue eye of the earth, a perfectly circular lake set among grassy plains. The water was so clear it mirrored the whole sky. Even Little Cloud could see herself, soft and luminous, floating in the reflection. "Sometimes," the wind whispered, "clouds look down here to remember their shapes and find themselves anew." All the while, gentle wind shared story after story. There were tales of snowy mountaintops gleaming bright even in summer, places where icy winds sang lullabies and frost painted everything in sparkling white. There were islands made of drifting clouds, where flocks of seagulls built hidden nests and shared their dreams with the wind. And there were legends of an old gray storm, the grandfather of all weather, who used rain and thunder to tell fairy tales to the clouds passing by. Little Cloud listened, rapt and enchanted. She would sometimes drift lower, trailing behind to follow the scent of wildflowers the wind carried up from below. She watched how the sunbeams turned each field to a golden sea, how butterflies formed patches of fluttering yellow, and how the world seemed endlessly full of things to see and learn. With every passing hour, the friendship between Little Cloud and the gentle wind grew warmer and deeper. The wind always led the way, adventurous and wise, while Little Cloud brought quiet curiosity and a gentle willingness to see and listen to everything. By late afternoon, the sun began to slip softly downwards, turning the sky a gentle orange pink. The two friends came upon a chain of small, slumbering mountains. Here other elder clouds gathered, curling up in puffs and wisps, content to rest for the evening. The wind guided Little Cloud to settle among them, the final rays of the sun tinting her edges rosy and warm. As Little Cloud nestled in, she felt peace bloom in her heart, a feeling both new and wonderful. She turned to the gentle wind, gratitude swirling through her. "Thank you, wind. I had a beautiful day." The wind gave a playful whistle, promising, "Let's go again tomorrow." Little Cloud's form shimmered in quiet agreement. "Okay, let's go again tomorrow." Now, as twilight deepened around her, Little Cloud noticed how she sparkled with delicate flecks of dust left behind by her friend, a reminder of their journey together. No longer was she an uncertain, lonely cloud adrift in a sky too vast to comprehend. A sense of belonging wrapped around her, gentle and reassuring. What she learned that day was simple and profound. The sky was big, so much bigger than she could have dreamed. But shared with a friend, every adventure, every discovery felt even larger, brighter, and infinitely more meaningful. With the wind as her guide and companion, the world seemed to stretch with endless possibility, waiting for each new sunrise. As she drifted into a contented sleep, cradled by the embrace of old clouds and watched over by the ever-faithful wind, Little Cloud knew this was just the first of many journeys. And in the gentle transition from day to night, with the stars beginning to shimmer and the world below growing quiet once again, she understood that she was never truly alone. For every corner of the sky holds a new story. Every breeze carries a friend, and every evening brings the promise of another beautiful tomorrow. That morning, the world felt washed new and peaceful. The sky shimmered above, vast and unbroken, its blue so polished and deep that it seemed to stretch forever, a quiet invitation to adventure. Stillness floated in every corner of the air, no bird song, no wind whistling, only endless, gentle silence. Little Cloud awakened in this hush, its round, misty form touching the sunlight gently. Without gentle wind nearby, the morning felt different. Gentle wind, who was always at Little Cloud's side, whispering hints of where the meadows bloomed brightest or where the stars first sparkled at dusk, was nowhere to be seen. He must be wandering another sky, chasing other adventures, Little Cloud thought. For the first time, it considered venturing out on its own. The idea was both thrilling and a little frightening. The skies seemed so wide when you had no companion, no gentle voice telling you which way to float. But curiosity is the gentle tug that leads us all, and Little Cloud's curiosity soon overpowered her nerves. With a deep breath, she began to drift forward. Soft, slow at first. Beyond her old resting place, she crossed paths with distant, wandering clouds, soft as milk, floating far in the bright air. Below her, the faint outline of a distant mountain range painted a line along the edge of the world, a reminder of how much awaited beyond her home. The air tingled with possibilities. Soon, the landscape below began to shimmer and change. What at first appeared as a blur gradually unfolded into a magnificent stretch of color, the flower fields. The sight took her breath away. She had never seen such a place. The ground below lay carpeted with flowers as far as her misty eyes could see. Daisies burst forth in milky white clusters, their petals shining in the slanting sunlight. Between them, lavender columns painted dark, inky rivers. Golden dandelions lifted their faces high, dazzling as the young morning sun. Among these colors, green grass formed a gentle background against which everything seemed to glow. A whisper of wind, light and kind, slid through the field, shaking soft petals, causing the whole landscape to ripple and sway. She drifted lower to watch. Bees, tiny and diligent, darted among the daisies, their buzz lost in the stillness. Butterflies, painted every shade from honey yellow to sky blue, danced from blossom to blossom, as if moving to music only they could hear. "Oh, I've never seen anything so beautiful," Little Cloud murmured. Delighted, she let a few silvery droplets fall. They glistened as they fell, like tiny jewels, and landed softly on petals. The flowers seemed to shimmer in thanks. One lavender blossom bent and swayed as if in a graceful nod. It passed through her mist and carried her gift gently. Clouds can feel things too, in their own soft way. Little Cloud felt her spirit grow lighter and fuller as she floated above this gentle sea of colors, collecting the fragrance, the hush, the sense of gentle celebration all around. With her heart filled and her mist swirling with new scents, she pressed forward, curiosity pulling her still. Beyond the flower fields, she spied a winding line of silver, a river, curving dreamily through the land. The river sparkled in the sunlight, lined with graceful willows on its gentle banks. It wound its way across the meadows like a soft ribbon laid upon the grass. The river had a quietness about it, a stillness so profound that the world seemed to pause when Little Cloud drew near. She hovered lower, letting herself come to rest just above its surface. The water below was mirror clear, reflecting the sky, the fields, the willows arching overhead. Peering down, Little Cloud gasped inwardly. She saw herself for the first time. A plump, soft-edged figure, shimmering in the sunlight, rimmed in faint rainbows and filled with shifting, shadowy blue. "Is that me?" she whispered, awestruck. She had never seen her own form before, only felt her presence as she drifted through the sky. From beneath the surface, a soft, gentle voice answered her wonder. "Hello, Little Cloud. I am Quiet River. You are so beautiful today." Though clouds do not blush, Little Cloud felt a gentle warmth ripple through her mist. "I've never seen myself before," she replied shyly. Quiet River laughed softly, its current barely disturbing the stones at the bottom. "Reflection is something that only the still can do." Little Cloud settled upon the river quietly, pondering these words. For a long moment she did not move. The whole world seemed to wait with her. The sky glimmered gently above. The flower fields leaned close on the shore. The willows rustled with secrets. She looked down into the water's gentle gaze and saw more than her own outline. She saw the journey she had made. She saw the path behind her, the swelling fields, the distant mountains, and herself, not as a lonely wanderer, but as a part of this whole gentle world. She gathered in the silence, filling herself with the peace and beauty reflected below. As the sun began to sink, painting the sky with pink and gold, Quiet River whispered again, the words carrying a soft weight. "When your heart is as vast as water, you will understand the whole world." Little Cloud nodded, though she did not fully understand. Still, she felt her heart stretch and grow a little, like a raindrop joining a great sea. At last, with the sky turning lavender and the first stars trembling awake above, Little Cloud rose up from the river. She drifted homeward, carrying with her the fragrance of the flower fields, the memory of her own reflection, and the quiet wisdom of the silent river. The world had not changed since she left, but she had, and that, she realized, was enough to make the journey shine forever in her heart. On a gentle morning, before even the sun had risen to paint the sky, Little Cloud awoke with a heart buzzing in anticipation. The world felt alive and full of promise, and Little Cloud glided upward, its spirit light and joyful. Today was a day for reunions, with gentle wind, the cherished companion who shared in yesterday's laughter among the flowered fields and the shimmering ribbon of the river. Carrying the memory of those adventures, Little Cloud soared through the sky, its movements as hopeful as a song. As the blue above stretched wide and endless, Little Cloud called out into the air, "Gentle wind, where are you?" The voice drifted, searching among the pillows of white and tufts of mist. But no answer returned. Only echoing silence and the rustle of distant air. Undeterred, Little Cloud journeyed onward. It passed among fellow clouds, chasing their own quiet dreams. It sailed beneath the soft embrace of a rainbow, hoping gentle wind might be waiting there, laughing in color. It swooped low toward the familiar patterns of migrating birds and high to the nests hidden among towering cloud castles. Nowhere, in all the wide expanse, could Little Cloud see its friend. Time trickled by. The ever-changing sky watched as little clouds circled, hope turning slowly to puzzlement and then to quiet frustration. It hovered in the vast blue, waiting and peering with longing. The minutes felt heavy. Doubt began to gather, curling like mist. "You promised to go out with me," Little Cloud whispered, its thoughts turning inside. "You didn't come, and you didn't tell me in advance." With each silent moment, a weight formed deep within. It was quiet at first, like the gentlest fog, but it grew, gathering in the hollows of Little Cloud's heart, accumulating until the tiny cloud felt crowded inside itself. For the very first time, Little Cloud carried something heavy. Anger. The sky, always sensitive to mood, began to mirror Little Cloud's feeling. The bright blue faded into hues of gray. The air thickened. Little Cloud floated, round and alone, frustration swelling its shape. Its fluffy outlines tightened, the vapor within turning heavier and denser. "Why do I feel so uncomfortable?" Little Cloud wondered, confusion mixing with the discomfort. The anger pressed inward, crowding and expanding until Little Cloud felt impossibly full. And then, all at once, the tension that had built inside could no longer be contained. With a sudden flash, a tiny thunderclap sounded. Startling, yet strangely relieving. It was not a roar, but a gentle boom, like the beating of a heart finally released. Moments later, the first raindrop spilled from Little Cloud, glimmering in the morning light. Each drop sparkled, clear and honest, emotions made visible and free. And so Little Cloud cried, not from sadness, but from the storm of anger it didn't yet know how to name. Each bead of water was a whisper of feeling, a single sigh made real. The rain drifted downward, tumbling in soft waves over the earth below. In the forest, leaves tilted eagerly to catch the gift. The ground awoke with the rich scent of earth and petals, the birds singing their thanks high in the trees, as if they understood the gift and the pain that brought it. Then from a gentle distance, a voice arrived on the wind, a melody longed for and instantly recognized. "Little May," came the call, warm and sincere. Gentle wind swept in with an embrace as soft as dawn. "I'm sorry. Today Mother Wind needed help bringing cold air to the barren land. I left in a hurry and didn't have time to tell her." The sound surrounded Little Cloud, breaking through the solitude with comfort and remorse. Still, the rain fell, softer now, drawn out by lingering pain. The cloud hovered, uncertain. "I was angry with you." The admission came, so small and vulnerable. It was a truth, and the first time that Little Cloud named it. "I know, and I understand," Gentle Wind replied, encircling the cloud with kindness. "Anger is also a part of love." The words wrapped around Little Cloud, soothing currents swirling through the mist. Little Cloud shivered, feeling the gentle strength of its friend. It rained, for the first time. The phrase was spoken quietly, a confession of something strange and new. "Wonderful," said Gentle Wind, swirling in a tender dance. That's how the cloud knows what truly stirs within. Rain is how you show the world what you feel, and share it too. As the rain slowed, a calmness spread within Little Cloud. The grayness thinned, the heavy burden melted away, absorbed into the earth and sky. Once again, Little Cloud became white and airy, its edges tinged with the colors of afternoon light, a shimmering sign that storms can end in beauty. For a long moment, Little Cloud just floated, breathing in and out, feeling the space around it open wide and free. The anger was gone, washed clean, and in that stillness, something new was understood. Anger itself was not a punishment, nor a stain. It was a part of growing, a feeling that simply needed to be expressed and released, like rain that cleanses both heavens and earth. In letting go, the heart felt light once more, brave enough to hope, and eager to meet tomorrow. Gentle Wind whispered with pride, "You've grown up a Little Cloud." In that growing up, Little Cloud learned an essential truth. Feelings are not to be feared nor hidden, but felt and shared. Even anger has its moment, and when transformed into rain, it nourishes the world, bringing color where once there was only gray. And when the sky cleared and gentle winds circled close, Little Cloud knew that friendship could weather storms. Not despite the rains, but because of them. After the first rain fell, Little Cloud found itself gently floating above the world, lighter than it had ever felt before. Washing away its anger, it had cried its tears over the earth, leaving a trail of nourishing water for the seedlings below. With its every droplet that had melted into meadow, forest, and field, it had given something of itself to the world. Yet, as it floated in the freshly washed air, Little Cloud felt a profound sense of emptiness. Its heart was quieter, but something within was deeper too, like a well made by the hollow left behind. As the afternoon sunlight slanted through the dissipating mist, Little Cloud noticed a thin rainbow shimmering all around it. Colors arched, delicate and tender, encircling the small cloud as if to remind it of the cycle it had just completed. Looking down, Little Cloud saw familiar sights. The flower field it had danced through, carpets of bloom turning their faces upward after the rain. The river, once a mirror to its stormy reflection, now glimmered in silver ribbons, content beneath the tranquil sky. Looking up, far above the shimmer of colors, Little Cloud saw a familiar form gliding across the vast blue. Gentle wind was returning, swaying with effortless grace, circling closer and closer until it drew near, just as it had on the very first day. Wind circled around Little Cloud like a soft ribbon, swirling tenderly. Its touch was cool and comforting, whispering on the surface but carrying with it the wisdom of distant lands. Wind's presence was an invitation and a reminder of all that had brought them together. "I'm back," Wind seemed to murmur, gliding softly. "Are you ready to go back?" Little Cloud nodded, not in the quick, eager way of a young cloud anxious for home, but gently, quietly. It was more like the nod of a friend who had wandered far, weighted by stories and feeling, yet longing for the warmth of belonging once again. They set out together, Wind and Cloud, side by side. Their journey was quiet. There were no flurries of excitement, no rush of chatter. Instead, silence flowed between them. A clear, easy silence, rich with shared experience. For behind their quietude were memories. The stormy torrents, the bursts of sunlight, the cool reflections in river water, the dance of wildflowers in the breeze. Each step of their return was a silent conversation, woven together by the simple joy of companionship. As they reached the place above the world where cloud nests gather, the softest part of the sky, Little Cloud saw that the nest was just as it had left it. White and downy, it floated peacefully among the others, a gentle cradle in the vast blue. Nearby, other clouds drifted by in billowing shapes. High above, Mother Cloud gazed up and welcomed them with a simple, radiant smile. "I'm back," Little Cloud whispered. Mother Cloud opened her arms, and Little Cloud nestled in, feeling her warmth. It was not as fluffy as it once had been. Its edges were softer, its center deeper, a cloud that had touched rivers and returned as dew, that had wept and turned rain into new life. "You've gone far away," Little Cloud murmured, sinking into the comfort it had so missed. Mother Cloud stroked it softly, her reassurance gentle and profound. "And you've brought the world back to your heart," she replied. Her words were a balm, echoing the journey's true transformation. That night, Little Cloud lay cozy in its nest, looking out past the soft haze of the other clouds towards the glittering stars. In those quiet moments, Little Cloud's memory roamed. The fields it had brightened with its tears, the riverbanks it had cooled, the tumult of its own emotions, and the silent gratitude that flooded in at being home again. In this stillness, Little Cloud discovered a quiet truth. Leaving the nest had never been simply about leaving. It was about returning anew. It understood now that only by going far could it see its home with wiser eyes. The journey had given it new ways to feel and a deeper compassion for all the lives it had touched along the way. Little Cloud understood there would be other mornings bright with possibility. Tomorrow it would fly again, perhaps over jagged mountains, perhaps through thunderous storms, or maybe into the glow of a gentle sunrise. With every journey, there would be obstacles and moments of beauty, times of giving and times of longing for home. But now, Little Cloud was different. In its heart lived not just the dream of floating, the desire to see the world, but also an understanding of how precious every part of its journey was. It knew how to weep and how to bring rain as a gift. It knew longing and the sweet comfort of return. It was not just a little cloud anymore. It was a cloud that knew how to dream. how to give, how to weather a storm, and, most important of all, how to find its way home again. And as the night deepened, and the sky hummed quietly with starlight, Little Cloud realized that every return is also a new beginning. The circle of leaving and returning, of giving and receiving, was eternal. The cloud nest was not an ending point, but the center where new journeys could unfold, each return richer, each departure braver. So the circle of Little Cloud's adventure closed gently, like the quiet ring of colors after rain. But it was also the place where another circle, a new day, a new dream, was just beginning. And nestled in its home, Little Cloud felt ready for whatever the next journey would bring. Thank you everyone for your interest. Please like and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications of more stories.